beginning of this feast that you have called us to keep. 1st of April, 2nd of April, and today is 18th of April. Tomorrow will be 9th of April, being the last day of the unleavened bread. Thank you for seeing us through in all these days. Thank you for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Thank you for giving us the bread of life, the word itself, the bread of life. Thank you for drawing us into the covenant. Even Yeshua himself, you said that Yeshua will be the covenant of Israel. Thank you for giving us Yeshua. Thank you for feeding us thus far. Today, I said before you, reveal to us all those things we have learned. Show to us those things that we have forgotten. Add us to know those things we do not know, so that they will come afresh in us and continue to empower us to do your will. We pray that you cover us from every nook and corner where we call you today. Pray that by the time we are through, Father, your name and your name alone will be beautified, glorified, and we will be rejoicing that we have helped with you today. Thank you for hearing us. In Yeshua's name we pray. Hallelujah.
Shabbat shalom.
I missed somebody. Okay. This day we want to go into our quiz. We're advised to get ready today, and you want to look at certain things that is very, very important. I want to ask us a question concerning your thinking, about what is being done today and what was done in the past. Somebody argued, in fact, it's not just arguing, the person brought out those who have, in the time past, led what is called religion, the founders. They mentioned so many of them, but what drew my attention is where the person classified amongst others that Abraham is the founder of Judaism. And this is coming from Messianic group, unfortunately. You see, what we do in Assembly of the Living Yahweh is quite different from what people in religious bodies, religious organizations are doing. Though in what we are doing, most of them are practiced amongst them in the religious setting. But we do not practice what they practice, because to a major extent, they deviate, they go away from the covenant. The issue is covenant. In Jeremiah, Yahweh said to Israelites, I gave you my covenant. I didn't call you to sacrifice. I didn't call you that your duty will continually be sacrificing. Now, when you look at the issue of sacrifice, it draws somebody down the lane of religion. And Yahweh said, I will bring you out from religion. And he did. Because in the wilderness, he gave them covenant. He didn't give them religion. And that is massive. And all the way from Abraham, even in the land of Mesopotamia, in the land of Ur, in the Chaldean land where Abraham came from, before he stepped into from Haran into the land of Canaan, Yahweh never gave him religion. He ran away from religion in the land of Ur, in the land of Babylon. He ran away. It was as a result of religious practices that Yahweh called Abraham out of that land. So religion is quite different. We must understand this, and we must appreciate it. Religion is different from the way we profess or we follow today. Somebody saying that Abraham is the author or the founder of Judaism don't understand the Torah, neither does he understand the Book of Covenant itself. We remember that in Genesis chapter 17, even from 15, Yahweh had begun to speak about his covenant with Abraham. I will make my covenant with you. My covenant will be with you. My covenant will be between me and you and your descendants and your offspring, your children. That's what Yahweh told Abraham. So there was nowhere Yahweh allowed Abraham to practice what he wanted or anything of his. Because if it comes to practicing what we believe in, we as human beings, we will end up in religion. We will surely end up in religion. Because religion is inclusive of whatever anybody can pick as a divine way of reaching divine authority or super authority. Can be superhuman being, can be whatever anybody consider as highly powerful. So the person can worship. Yahweh told us who he is. He's the creator of all, the maker of everything. So he said, I give you my covenant. Let's hear him speak. And where he prompted Abraham was in Genesis chapter 17. When Abraham was 99 years old, Yahweh appeared to Abraham and said to him, I am Yah Almighty. Walk before me and be blameless. You find that in Genesis chapter 1, verse 28 and Exodus 6, verse 3. Now, he went on, said, I will make my covenant between me and you, and I will multiply you exceedingly. It's not done. Let's continue, because we want to establish here that covenant is different from religion. Covenant is different from religion. And you will see why. You see how. And why Yahweh did what he did to ensure that Israelites are brought out of religion. In verse 5, we read, let's go to verse 4. As for me, behold, my covenant is with you. My covenant is with you. The covenant is Yahweh's covenant. Yes, he made covenant with human beings, but it is Yahweh's way of agreeing with his people he called or he chose. Way is a way. This covenant is a way of agreeing with his people. Covenant is agreement. Agreement of what? whatever that constitutes what he agreed with people is that covenant. Now, that becomes all that he put together, whatever that he put together, then become the way the people has to follow. So when they follow that way, they become covenant keepers. Now, that covenant being his own, he said, my covenant is with you. You will be the father of a multitude of nations. You will be the father of so as a father of multitude of nations, Abraham, you will teach these multitudes my covenant. You see, what Yahweh gave to Abraham, Yahweh brought Abraham into his covenant. Going forward there, verse 7, I will establish my covenant between me and you and your seed. And we trace that seed to Yeshua, the descendant, as part of his descendants. So Yeshua, we are told, is the head, because he will lead Israel. As he returns, he will lead Israel. He's come before to prepare them. He will be returning to establish them, to make them the nation, like Yahweh mentioned here. Abraham, you are going to be a father of a multitude of nations. So Yeshua is going to be the leader of the very nation he found in Abraham. And he went on, after you threw out their generations for an everlasting covenant to be Yahweh to you and to your offspring after you. And on and on, verse 9 there, Yahweh said to Abraham, as for you, you shall keep my covenant, you and your descendants after you throughout their generations. So it's not only Abraham possessing the covenant, not only Abraham teaching the covenant to his descendants. Abraham has to keep this covenant, he and his descendants, throughout their existence in this world. Has Abraham and his children stopped existing? No, they're still existing. Till Yeshua comes, till he will use them to establish righteousness on earth. So you see that all the way, in fact, it all began from Adam to Noah. Because the same pronouncement was made to Noah in Genesis chapter 9. Now, the thing, or this covenant promise to Abraham was very, very well implemented in the descendants. When they got into the wilderness as they were coming from Egypt, Yahweh called them and said, I spoke to Abraham, I spoke to Isaac, I spoke to Jacob. I am their father. Then you are my children. You have to follow the footsteps of your fathers. Follow this covenant. So Israel continue to follow the covenant. So where did somebody see Abraham departing from this covenant and going into religion? Nowhere. And besides, in the days of Abraham, all the time he was in Babylon, Mesopotamia, there was no name like Judah, let alone Judaism as a religion. It was after the descendants, Isaac, Jacob, one of the sons of Jacob, was named Judah. It was after they came back from Egypt that Judaism was founded by the two tribes, the tribe of Judah and Benjamin. And that was even after they went to Babylon and came back. Judaism was founded as a religion under that tribe, Judah. So when they departed from the covenant way, when they walked away, when we talk about walking away, when anybody abandons Yahweh's name, the owner of the covenant is no longer there. They call another. So they walked away from him. They walked away from the covenant. Now, when that happened, they picked what they got from nations, including Babylon, they were dwelling. And that was how Judaism came in their midst and spread up to today. Though they held it, though they still claim they go with the covenant. However, and people interpret all this in their own way, in their own how it suits them. Today, even those in religions interpret their religion to suit, would I say, their disobedience, to suit their own way or what they are professing to mean the covenant. So you see that the covenant in itself is quite different, quite far removed from what is called religion. Religion has to do with human beings seeking divine power, divine authority to worship, to serve. But in covenant, Yahweh is the owner. Yahweh instituted and he called people. Can you see? Religion is reverse. I don't know whether somebody's getting what I'm trying to point out. In religion, human beings are seeking that power, that authority, highest authority, or superhuman being, super entity, or God. There is somewhere I try to bring meaning to that. Let me see some of the quiz. But all you need to know there is that it's an act of human beings who are pursuing faith, they believe or want to believe in a being. But in covenant is Yahweh coming to human beings and saying, I called into this my covenant, keep it, do what is in it. So the person now follow Yahweh, not just subscribing to the name of Yahweh. No, the person Yahweh becomes the father of the person. That's how it goes. In religion, it's not like that. In religion, the power may not even be the father of the person, but the person sees that power as really the highest authority that he should obey. But even at that, they are not careful to obey, because when Yahweh, was training Israelites in the wilderness, he told them that they should not do as the Gentiles were doing, their practices, their culture, their religion, they should not do, because even their gods they worship, they don't honor their God. They don't respect their God. They treat their God anyhow. You can imagine that. That is religion. That's what happens in religion. Anything goes in religion. And they choose to obey or do what they want. So all these are differences you find in religion and in covenant. In explaining this, let me ask it as a question. I will not answer it. What is defined as the belief in and worship of a superhuman power or powers, especially a god or gods?
Long question.
No, it's not long. This question tries to define religion. You can simply say religion is the belief in or faith in and worship of a superhuman power, a superhuman authority or powers, especially a god or gods. So I'm just trying to, this is definition of religion, but I try to put it in a way of question. I won't let you to answer it, but to go to it, when we begin to answer the quiz, we will get there. So I don't know whether that is clear, that Yahweh called Abraham and gave him covenant. And in verse, let's conclude this by showcasing how Yahweh designed what he called this covenant, how he designed it. In verse 10, he said, "This is my covenant, which you shall keep between me and you and your offspring after you. Every male among you shall be circumcised." Now, covenant is tied to circumcision. And circumcision is tied to obedience. You must be faithful to Yahweh. You must remain faithful. Remember in verse 1 of Genesis 17, Yahweh called Abraham to faithfulness. Walk before me and be blameless. That I am Yah Almighty, the all and all, the creator of everything, the maker of human, gods, everything. So, covenant is far greater than what you call religion. If you like, religion, or in religion, you have the doings of men, commandments of men, traditions of men. Men seeking power, spiritual power to worship. Can be human powers, can be human being. You heard when I, described the religion in a form of the definition that was produced there. And this could be superhuman being or God or gods, as they may want, as they may choose. Anything can be that power that's they're seeking. Now, having said this in verse 10, that Abraham will keep it, the offspring will keep it, male children must be circumcised as a sign of this covenant, and the sign of this covenant is called circumcision. And the import of circumcision is obedience. Remain faithful to Yahweh forever and ever. That means in the Torah that Israelites were given, Israelites will keep the Torah. They must not twist the Torah. They must not add in it. They must not subtract from it. But in religion, they add, they subtract at will. So all these are the differences that we have in these two ways of life. Now he went on in verse 11, "You shall be circumcised in the flesh of your foreskin. It will be a token of the covenant between me and you." You see, Yahweh keep on telling Abraham, this is between I and you. I and you, there, Yahweh said, Yahweh himself and what? Israel. Because Abraham that we are hearing of here later, by virtue of this descendant, they became the name called Israel, and this Israel became nation. And that's what Yahweh told Abraham, that of these descendants, you are going to become a nation. So this, your nation or your people, are going to be keepers of the covenant. And that's why we are called covenant keepers. So covenant keepers are not religious people. They're not. I have stressed this for you to understand that when people are talking about religion, if you work yourself into it, you'll be dropping the covenant, and Yahweh will not be happy with you. Don't try it, because that is not our way. Now in verse 13, he who is born in your house and he who is bought with your money must be circumcised, must come into this covenant. My covenant shall be in your flesh. Have you seen that? So this covenant that was given to Abraham, or Abraham was called into to keep, must be registered in his flesh. Religion doesn't register in people. It can be in many religions at the same time. Yes, they have faith in Christianity. They also do the things the Muslim people do, Judaism do. But here in the covenant Yahweh gave to Israel, he said, you don't mix yourself. You remain a covenant keeper. How does a Christian mix himself with other religions? Oh, when those guys are doing their festivities, they join them. They eat their fowl, they eat their chicken, they eat their egg, Easter egg, and all those things that those other religions offer. Like in pagan, they took the eggs as part of the ritual that happened in the pagan celebration or feasts. Christians enjoy it. When Muslims are doing their thing, Christians enjoy it. On and on like that. Anything goes. Whatever, wherever they're called, they're like a wind. They're blown here and there. That's what religion does. For instance, many of them who are Christians, they will tell you they are staunch Christians, particularly when they're politicians. Oh, they go anywhere. Anywhere they will catch people to vote for them. They will go to their mosques, they will go to their synagogue, they will go to their churches, they will go to anywhere. And so they dine and wine. Yahweh said, my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. So Yahweh's covenant doesn't end, can never end. But one day, someday, religion will be exterminated, will disappear. Because when Yahweh will kill the whole gods, all the gods that is caging Israelites, that is making Israelites not to know Yahweh, what is called religion will be messed up, will be packed up. And someday in this world, religions will disappear. When there will be new heaven and new earth, do you think there will be religion in this world again? There will not. Verse 14, the uncircumcised male, anyone that is not circumcised, that means anybody that is not a carrier of this covenant, listen to what Yahweh is saying. The uncircumcised male who is not circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant. If you do not or will not circumcise yourself as male or man, you are not part of Yahweh's covenant. No matter how, no matter how the amount of Torah that you carry, you preach, you speak, it will not make sense. All Yahweh is requesting or asking us is to live life of obedience. There are so many Bible portions. I wouldn't want to belabor us into them now because we have our quiz to undertake. So take it that the covenant is quite different from religion. Covenant way, religious way, narrow way, which is the covenant way, broad way, which is religious way. We are called to walk in the narrow way, which is the covenant way, not in the broad way, which is religious way. May Yahweh help us, guide us, and continue to speak in us as we use and live in all these commandments so that we know our bearing, we know who we are, you know what we are pursuing, and who called us. There's only one that called anybody that will be partaker of the kingdom. And once you're a partaker of Yahweh's covenant, you're a keeper of the covenant, you are inheritor. You are given the earth to inherit. You are called to inherit the earth. The earth is founded, established for you to live in and flourish. That is the promise of Yahweh from Adam. The earth was given to Adam. Unfortunately, Adam played religion and he lost it. He lost it. If you don't want to lose your covenant way, never flirt with religion. Never entice yourself in religion. If you do that, you will miss the way. And that will be missing the kingdom. May God help us, guide us every day to remain faithful, to remain obedient, to do what he asks us to do. And when Yeshua comes, he will find us worthy of partakers of the very kingdom that he has come to, begin everything that has to do with his setup. Because he is give us that kingdom. God bless you. Right. I think we will quickly look into what we have. But before we begin the quiz, can I ask us, please, ask that question that you have been trying to find answer somewhere. I wanted us to discuss some areas that has to do with religion, where you have false prophets, false this, false that, in pastors, in evangelists, in teachers. There are so many issues going on, and we are asked to avoid religious liars. Then we wanted to look at, the leaven of Pharisees and Sadducees. We wanted to talk about idols of religions and so on and so forth. But I realized that we have discussed all these things. I think we discussed them last year. So search out last year messages on unleavened bread. You will see these messages. They are there. Remind yourself, revive your mind on all these. It will very much help us as we journey, because we need to continuously, remind ourselves of those things that have been taught, so that we don't forget. Forgetting is dangerous. Satan may use it to deal with the person when you're supposed to be in the know of what Yahweh wants us to know and move forward. Right. If you have query, observation, comments in all what we've been discussing since 1st of April till today, since Wednesday last week till today. Today is Wednesday, isn't it?
Wednesday.
Today is Wednesday. So this 8 days now. Tomorrow will be, this is the 7th to.
Today is 8.
Today is today is 7th. From Passover, yes.
No. Monday was 6.
Tomorrow will be the 80th day we started all this. So if you have question, comment, observation, please. Anybody with query? Yes, can I hear from us?
Shalom.
Shalom.
Sir, I want you to explain to me how did Adam and Eve play the role of religion? I don't get it clear.
Okay, open the book of Genesis. Okay, don't worry, don't belabor yourself doing that. We have been hearing what we've been. You see, all these are at times when we speak them in theory, we need to bring them into limelight, into practical aspects of the theoretical message. We have to bring them, into reality. Now, most of what Yahweh or how the book of Torah is written, in fact, the book of covenant, everywhere, they are majorly written figuratively in proverbs and certain languages or ways of expression that ordinary English or language we speak will not easily catch, except the Spirit itself will help us to download it, explain it, and give us the true message, or the very message as we would understand it. What Yahweh was or mentioned to Adam and Eve when they were in the Garden of Eden was to follow his way, follow his covenant way. That covenant way is characterized into good, doing good, living life of uprightness, righteousness. And that is obtained from the word of Yahweh. And the word of Yahweh is what Yahweh spoke out, what was written. For instance, Moses heard Yahweh, all those were written down. We call them Torah, the law. The first 5 books of the Bible is said to be Torah, that is the law. So whether Yahweh spoke them out by his voice, or it is dictated and they are written down, or they were imparted to the prophets and they passed them to us, they are all word of Yahweh, the word of Yahweh. And what Yahweh wants us to do is to do them, perform them. Now, in Genesis chapter 3, we saw the struggle there. We saw a being camouflaged as a serpent that came with deception, lies, opposite of truth, lying to Adam and Eve that they should not hearken to the word of Yahweh. And it was captured as fruit eating, tree eating, seed eating, whatever the tree could produce. The fruits of the tree was beautiful in the eyes of the woman, and the woman saw it. She could, just like Saul was asked, go and destroy Amalekite. Yesterday, he had, when Yahweh was talking about that. So that can be configured in any way to explain doing the word of Yahweh and disobeying that word. So Yahweh asked Adam, Eve, you should obey me. Don't depart from my word. Don't depart from my way. If you do that, in Genesis chapter 2, verse 16 and 17, said, when you depart from eating from the good, you will perish. If you will not continue with my word, you will perish. The word of Yahweh is the good, is the truth. Thy word is truth. Satan came and said, no, don't listen to Yahweh. Now, it's like Satan calling Yeshua, saying, oh, has Yahweh said you should not do this, you should not do that? Look, the whole word has been given to me. It's not in the hands of Yahweh. You can see now that I'm in charge. Every good thing, the authority, the power, I command and control, I rule. The earth belongs to him. The heaven, everything that he can see, the water, the seas, the ocean, the fishes, the animals, human beings, he claimed they are in his hands. Guess what he told Yeshua? He said, Yeshua, only what I expect you to do, for you to take all that is in this earth as a gift. You will own them, you will control them. Just worship me. You will be ruling the world. Remember that Yahweh had told Yeshua, come and fix the lives of humanity. Take away their sins. You will rule them. You will rule the world. So here, Yeshua was in between the two opinions. Or in the two the promises. Yahweh had promised Yeshua. There Satan was promising him to rule the world. Well, who did he listen to? He listened to Yahweh. How? He said to Satan, it is written. He drew the attention of Satan that Yahweh had told him. And you, Satan, that is commanding or is trying to push him out of the way. Didn't you see it in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 13, 14, 15? It is written. And Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 20, it is written. So in Matthew chapter 4, verse 10, Yeshua told Satan, it is written that human beings, everybody, including he himself, must worship Yahweh and Yahweh alone. So Satan, you have no right to push me or charge me to do your bidding in order to get your gift. No. So that is what the first Adam would have told Satan then. But he missed it. His eyes was like Saul looking at Agag, the king that had possessions of his kingdom, wealth, cattle, animals, lamb, goat, everything that was there. They said all the beautiful things, Saul loved them and he took them for himself. Violating the word of Yahweh that says, do not take anything, any animal, any human being, any gold, silver, don't take. Destroy all. But Saul rebelled. See, rebellion is the issue. So, the problem is not hearkening to the word of Yahweh. When we depart from the word of Yahweh, as Adam and Eve departed from the word of Yahweh, that was where the trouble is. So they entered into religion. When we hearken to the voice of Satan, we go down to religion and we leave the covenant way of Yahweh. Does that make sense?
Sir, it's clear.
So that is what happened. It's real life. This is breaking Genesis chapter 2, chapter 3. It, particularly in this our time. So this our time, this our age. Yahweh wants us to look at things the way he placed them in the book of covenant. Somebody was saying something? Is the person asking a question? Okay. Any other query? Any other observation from anybody? Can somebody ask questions? Hey, before I will start asking my own questions. Okay, in absence of any other query, I will start from the easier or easiest one.
Easier one.
This should be very, very easy for us to answer because we've answered them before. So it's a recap. Those who were present when they were asked the other time, they will enjoy it. Okay, let's start with our quiz today. I have plenty of them, as much as we can take. In the book of the covenant, when we talk about book of the covenant, is the Bible. In the book of the covenant, what feast did Yahweh ask us to keep? A, Easter. B, Easter and Passover. C, Passover and unleavened bread. D, Easter, Christmas, Passover, and unleavened bread. Which?
Passover and unleavened bread. C.
Okay, thank you. That's correct. Passover and unleavened bread. 2, in the book of the covenant, Bible, how many times did Yahweh ask us to keep the Passover in a year? How many times? A, as often as we can take it. B, once in a year. C, twice in a year. D, every time we feel like having it throughout the year.
Shalom. Once in a year.
Once in a year. Thank you, Magnifique. Yahweh bless you. That's correct. Question 3. After Yeshua's death, are we to shed animal blood to observe the Passover? A, yes, because Yahweh commanded to kill a lamb or sheep. B, yes, because without shedding of animal blood, the feast will be irrelevant. C, no, because the blood of Yeshua atones for our sins. D, none of the above.
C.
C. No. C.
No, C. No, not.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Is C. No, because the blood of Yeshua atones for our sins. After the work of Yeshua, nobody is permitted to shed blood again, all in the name of atoning for sin.
Thank you.
The blood of Yeshua atones for our sin once and for all. So we don't need to catch animals and start slaughtering and killing. You don't have to do it because the temple is not there. 2, you don't have priests. Yeshua now is the high priest. So how are you going to do all those?
Yeah, that is true.
Yes. The temple is no longer there. It's no longer in existence because Yeshua said the temple will fall, and the temple fell because of him. Once he took over the government of the office of the priest and the king, everything is in his hands. Anybody erecting his own temple, because in these later days, they're about erecting their own temple and restarting animal sacrifice. So Yahweh didn't send them. And the beast that is going to encourage them to do that is going to disappoint them. After 3.5 years, he will start slaughtering them. So we should not be deceived. It's good for we know the truth. And that's what we are doing now, learning, so that we know our rights, our culture, our custom, our way of life, which is different from the way of life of the Gentiles. And that is why we have been into sin, because we turn to the Gentiles and do their thing. When we begin to practice their culture, we walk away from the covenant, walk away from the way of Yahweh, and that constitutes sin. So let's do the right thing. Follow the covenant. Question 4. Question 4. Passover symbolizes the last days deliverance of the covenant keepers. Passover symbolizes the last days deliverance of the covenant keepers. A, true. B, false. C, not sure. D, none of the above. Passover symbolizes the last days deliverance of the covenant keepers. True, false, not sure, none of the above.
It's false. It's false.
You said false. Any other person?
It's true. It symbolizes our deliverance.
Thank you so much. It's not just what happened in Egypt, the Passover in Egypt, or in the wilderness, or they were celebrating in Canaan, or we are even celebrating now. It is talking about the last day. That's why Yahweh says, continue to do it until Yeshua returns. From generation to generation, continue to do it, continue to do it. So that we are doing it even to the last days means that Yahweh is coming in to deliver us as he delivered them in Egypt. So we are not yet delivered. And it marks for our salvation, where he is going to, after delivering us, he restore us into the kingdom, and we will live there forever. We'll be saved. We are not yet saved. In Christianity, they say they are saved. All that he has prepared us is to seal us. We are under his seal, under his protection, because we are believers, we are covenant keepers, so he protects us, pending when he will come to finally deliver us from the hands of the Gentiles, from the hands of those who hold us captive today. Okay, if you say you are saved, where is your home? Oh, they said it's heaven. They missed it, and yet they said they are saved. Because if they are in heaven, they are saved. They are no longer be maltreated or robbed or dealt with or killed anyhow. They will be saved in heaven. Salvation means that nobody will get to you again to slaughter you, to kill you, to maim you, to rob you, to rubbish you. That is when you are completely saved, when you have obtained Yahweh's salvation. Nobody will have that power. So Christianity doesn't know what salvation is or what to be saved is all about. So unfortunate, it's just very. If you are not a covenant keeper, you wouldn't know this. And you can only know this by virtue of the promises of Yahweh. It's massive. That is coming to take us out from the Gentile world to the land where now he is going to be our shield, our buckler, our protection. Enemies coming, he will deal with them. By that time, Yeshua will be in charge. He will be the head of state. Head of the government, the king, and the high priest at the same time. So there's no government authority or power or leader, prime minister, or head of state or president that is going to be higher than him. They are all going to worship him. So if they are going to worship him, if they are going to serve him, how would they enter into his land to take even an animal, let alone human being? Never. They will not do it. It can't happen. Not under his eyes. So that is what is called salvation. Under the arm of Yahweh, through Yeshua, who is going to be our leader. Number 5, Yahweh promised to regather Israelites back to the land in these last days. Yes, it's called Second Exodus. B, yes, it's called rapture into heaven. C, yes, it's called return of Israel and rapture into heaven. D, all of the above. Did we understand the question? Everybody is keeping quiet. Yahweh promised to regather. That's what I was explaining since. Yahweh promised to regather Israelites back to the land in these last days. Now, is this statement true or false? And we have options. A, yes, it's called second Exodus. B, yes, it's called rapture into heaven. Yes, it's called return of Israel and rapture into heaven. D, all of the above.
Yes.
Yes, it's called second Exodus. God bless you. Thank you so much. Question 6. According to the word of Yahweh, obedience is better than dash. Goodness and mercy. A. B. Evil and wickedness. C. Sacrifice. D. Love and peace.
Better than sacrifice.
It's better than sacrifice. Thank you so much. That is the answer. 7. What is defined as somebody that is smart? Now will catch it quickly before I even finish or get halfway. Somebody will catch it. Question 7. What is defined as the belief in the worship of a superhuman power or powers, especially a god or gods?
Religion.
Now, A, covenant. B, cultures and traditions. C, religions. D, all of the above.
Religions.
Religions. You see the benefit of staying and remaining in class. If you attend class, you will catch the answer. You get it each time any question is posed. That you are doing any particular study you don't understand is because you are not present. That is where the problem is. And when you are present, you open your ears, you hear. And where you don't understand, you ask questions, it will be explained to you, you will catch it. So when a question is thrown from there, you can't fail it. You see that because you are present, and when I was doing this explanation this morning, you quickly catch it. That is good. Religions is the answer. 8. Who did Yahweh say rebellion is like the sin of divination? Who was Yahweh talking to here? Rebellion is like the sin of divination. A, Samuel. B, Samuel and Saul. C, Saul only. D, Saul and all human beings. This is a little bit.
Samuel and Saul. A.
Okay, another person. Another person, quickly, somebody answer.
Okay, Saul, I think so.
No. If you've made the attempt, answer again. Yes, somebody quickly help us.
Saul.
Who did Yahweh say or talk to when he said rebellion is like the sin of divination? Is it Samuel? B, is it Samuel and Saul? C, is it Saul only? D, is it Saul and all human beings?
It was Saul only. I understand now. Saul only.
Any other person?
Sorry, I missed the question. Is it possible to repeat, please?
He was talking to Saul.
Who did Yahweh say? Yahweh made this statement to somebody. Who did Yahweh say this to? Rebellion is like the sin of divination or the sin of witchcraft. Who? A, Samuel. B, Samuel and Saul. C, Saul only. D, Saul and all human beings.
So looks like this. Well, it was through Samuel, but I guess it was to Saul, but it was a message from Yahweh to Samuel.
Yes, that is Yahweh's message. To who? Who was he talking to? Who was he addressing?
To Saul, King Saul at the time.
Yesterday we treated this matter in depth. That means you have to rewind it again. Listen to the audio or the video, either in Facebook or no, it's not in Facebook. It's in the YouTube. Listen to it in YouTube. None of those are the answer. One should be the answer. He was talking to Saul, but is it only Saul? No, to all human beings. So the answer is Saul and all human beings. You see, it's a tricky something. Because there, Yahweh was, through Samuel, Yahweh was speaking to Saul. Because Saul was it was difficult for Saul to accept. Because he was lying, trying to cover up his sin. But Yahweh has seen all that is rebellion. He caught Agag, took Agag for himself, the king of Amalek, and also took the sheep, the goat, the calf, the animals, the fanciful things. He took them to himself. And he said that it was his, his lieutenants or soldiers that took all those. Whereas he is in charge. So he took all those, hid them, and he went to Samuel. He said, "Oh, I have obeyed Yahweh's commands. I'm obedient." So I said, "But I'm hearing sound of animals crying. Oh, where is that God?" He said, "No, everything that Yahweh asked me to do, I did them." So Samuel began to tell him what Yahweh said concerning him, and by extension, concerning every human being. But because he wanted Samuel to join him to go and sacrifice to Yahweh, so that Yahweh will not kill him or Yahweh will not take away his kingship. As if he used that to bribe Yahweh, Yahweh will keep quiet. Yahweh now told him what human beings are doing. Anybody that violates Yahweh's command or authority, the person will be in trouble. So it's to Saul and to all human beings. That is the proper way of the context. When you want to put it into context, you bring human beings, because what that man did is not only him, all other things have been doing it. Today, all human beings. When somebody, look at what Adam and Eve did. And when Yahweh caught them and was asking them, "Adam, where are you?" He began to say, "Oh, everything is if. If, why did you do it? Oh, it was serpent. The same thing, human beings up to today, people are doing the same thing. So this, and what we will learn here again is that Yahweh is saying rebellion is disobedience. Now, if rebellion is disobedience, in the eyes of Yahweh, the sin of disobedience, because disobedience is sin. Sin is breaking Yahweh's law, transgression of Yahweh's law. Now, if rebellion is transgressing Yahweh's law, Yahweh said is like, he sees it as one who is a witchcraft practitioner, one who is practicing witchcraft. That's how Yahweh see sin of disobedience, sin of rebellion. And what he's saying here, don't go that area, because Yahweh will not spare the person. Number nine question. Sin of disobedience is compared to A, sacrifice of witchcraft, B, sacrifice of righteousness, C, practice of mercy, D, practice of hatred. Sin of disobedience is compared to, I've been shouting it a while ago. What practice is it? Practice of divination, practice of witchcraft, or B, practice of righteousness, or practice of mercy, or practice of hatred? Which one?
Practice of righteousness.
It's practice of witchcraft. That is what we are talking about in questions 8 there. Rebellion is like the sin of witchcraft, or divination. Just the same thing there. So here it was like turning the question the other way around to find out whether what Yahweh is speaking in that this question 8 here, whether the person catch it. So it's all about disobedience. And how did Yahweh compare it? He said it's like, one who is into witchcraft. Number 10 question. In 1 Samuel 15, the behavior of Saul, just a minute. Behavior of Saul represents leaven, unleavened, Passover practice, unleavened and Passover behavior. Did somebody get it? In 1 Samuel, remember that's where this divination, witchcraft came from, the behavior, what Saul did. Now, in the context of what we are doing today, the feast Yahweh asks us to keep, looking at the behavior of Saul, where do you rate it? Do you rate it as like in keeping leaven to yourself, or unleavened, or Passover, unleavened and the Passover behavior together? So which one? Remember, leaven or anything that has to do with leavening is looked at as sin. So what did Saul do? Saul disobeyed, and Yahweh said that disobedience is likened to sin of something, divination, witchcraft. So if leaven is sin, so what did the Saul do? What type of behavior is that? It's a sinful behavior. So leaven is the answer. Hallelujah. Right. I think out of the 10 questions, you made it to 8 questions. You answered 8 questions, which is fantastic. That is good. That is brilliant. That is brilliant. Okay. I will see those who followed us from the beginning, from first day, Passover, till today. I'm taking the question B. We just done question A's. This is question B's. Our authority for obedience is derived from A, our pastor's word, B, our prophet's word, C, our parents whom we must honor, D, the word of Yahweh.
The word of Yahweh.
Thank you so much. The word of Yahweh. 2, what month is the first month for the people of Yahweh? A, Nisan. B, Adar, Adar 1 and Adar 2. C, Abib. D, all of the above.
All of the above.
Thank you so much. All of the above. Question 3. In honor of Yahweh our Father, celebrate the Passover each year in. We celebrate the Passover each year in what month? A, the late spring of Abib. B, the early spring of Abib. C, the early month of Adar 1 and Adar 2. 3, sorry, D, the early autumn of Abib. In honor of our Father, we celebrate the Feast of Passover. When do we celebrate the Feast of Passover? Is it the early spring of Abib, the late spring of Abib, early month of Adar 1 and Adar 2, or the early autumn of Abib?
Any autumn of Abib.
Autumn is Tabernacle, Feast of Tabernacles.
Okay.
Yes. So is spring. It is early spring. Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 1. If you look at New Living Translation, it will tell you at the early spring. So the month of Abib at the early spring is when we begin our feast of Passover to celebrate our Father in heaven, to glorify his name, what he did for us. Question 4. Yahweh's Passover begins at sunset on the 14th day of the first month Abib. B. Sunset on the 10th day of the first month Adar. C. Sunrise on the 14th day of the first month Abib. D. Sunrise on the 10th day of the first month Adar. Adar 1 and Adar 2. Is it sunrise or sunset? 10th month or 14th month? When do we begin our Passover? When did we start? On the first Wednesday last week. When did we start the Passover feast? What time was that?
On the sunset.
Sunset. What day?
14.
14th day. Thank you so much. Thank you. Question 5. How many Shabbats shall be counted before Pentecost? That is Feast of the Weeks. How many? How many in number? A. 7 Shabbats plus 1 or 50 days. B. 7 Shabbats or 49 days. C. 7 Shabbats plus 1 or 50 days plus 1. D. 7 Shabbats plus 10 days or 59 days. Which? After we finish the Shabbat, how many days do we have to count before we enter Pentecost? So the next feast will be Pentecost, the feast of the fruits. I mean the weeks, or Shavuot.
49 days.
Sorry?
49 days.
49 days. Okay. 49 days. You are right, but one thing still keep it out. We count 49 days plus 1 because that day must be on Sunday. That's why you have to add 1. That's what Bible said. It must be on Sunday. That's every Pentecost is celebrated.
We begin to count to account on Sunday.
No, we begin the count on the Sabbath. Immediately after the Sabbath of the unleavened bread. And that is talking about the weekly Sabbath, because there are 3 Sabbaths in unleavened bread. So Yahweh is referencing the weekly Sabbath. So after the weekly Sabbath, you begin the count. So you count 49 days. So the next day will be the Sabbath. That's why I say 49 days plus 1. That is how it goes. Right. Question 6. If instruction or command of men overrides Yahweh's word, what will you do? A. I will not obey it. B. I will obey it provided it's true. C. I must flee from it. D. A and C above. If instruction or commandment of men overrides Yahweh's word, if somebody want to use their own teaching, doctrine, whatever, to cancel out the word of Yahweh, what will you do? Will you obey them or will you obey Yahweh? A, I will not obey it. I will obey it provided it's true. C, I must flee from it. D, A and C above.
A and C above.
A and C above. Thank you so much. Okay, I go into picking some of the questions. I'm not going to go serially again. Provocative Queen of Heaven is called Easter or Christmas. Okay, this may not be part of what we have. Let me pick some of the ones that touches what you studied. Right. Destroying angel could not kill firstborn of Israel in Egypt because of water, because of B, because of blood, C, wine, D, water and blood. Destroying angel could not kill firstborn of Israel in Egypt because of A, water, B, blood, C, wine, D, water and blood.
Blood. Because of blood.
Yes, we should not struggle with this. That is good. It's blood. What did Yahweh charge them to do? Exodus chapter 12. We read there that they should take a lamb, keep the lamb for 10 days. Then after 4 days, on top of that 10 days, that is 14 days, they should kill the lamb or sheep or goat, 1 year old. It has to be without any blemish. It has to be clean, no spots, no wrinkles. It has to be a clean animal. Now, they spill the blood and they put the blood on the lintel of the door. The reason being that there is angel of slaughter, destroying angel that will be passing through the land in the night. So when the angels pass through their own side, if they see the blood, they will bypass. They will not enter the house to search out firstborn of anything to kill. So Israelites obeyed. You see, this is the reason why Yahweh is talking about obedience, 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 obedience. Whatever I ask you to do, do it because it's for your own good, for my own good. We have to obey him. Because in all that he's doing them to save us, to protect us, to help us, to lead us to move forward. So as they obeyed and put blood of the animals they killed at the lintel of the doors, none of them died. As a result, none of them, but all the families of, in fact, the Egyptians, where they put the blood at the lintel of their, they didn't lose their children, because there were some of these Egyptians that followed them back to the land of Israel. So the same thing is going to happen in these latter days. How? We are already doing that. We are already keeping the command. This command here, we are keeping it. This Passover that was celebrated, unleavened bread that is being celebrated, all these feasts, the purpose is all about, is for our salvation. Yahweh commands us to keep them or do them for our salvation, for our protection, for our liberation. I've been saying it that Passover is all about our liberation, our deliverance, our salvation, and all that. Unleavened bread is he wants to see us clean, pure when he comes. So unleavened bread, we are asked to remove anything that will leaven our body, our life, which is depicted as sin. So when we keep the feast of unleavened bread, we are removing sins from us. Remember, Yahweh asked us to clean our homes, remove anything that is leavened, any leavening products, any leavening food, any leavening agent or reagent remove them from the house, because he is using it to signpost like a symbol to show us how sin behave. So he's telling us throughout the whole year, that's how we are going to remove sin, anything that is sin from our lives. So you see that the feast of Passover and feast of unleavened bread is talking about our deliverance and our cleanness. So when he comes to deliver us, you must be clean. You must be made clean, a pure person, a clean person. That is what Yahweh is teaching us in all these feasts. It's not just feast of take that champagne, take that wine, take that food and all that. Oh, they're all good. Yahweh wants us to go along with all those in this feast, but understand the call, understand what you are asked to do, the substance of this feast, understand it, put it in your head and live that way. So he calls us to live righteous life, holy life, get ready to be saved, get ready for your freedom. So that's what Israel demonstrated in Egypt. That's why we are still keeping it. He said, all these are perpetual feasts, celebrated from generation to generation, because in the latter days, Yeshua will be coming to deliver us as he delivered them in Egypt. According to scriptures, Passover and unleavened bread are feasts for A, freedom, B, slavery, C, captivity, D, hope. According to the scriptures, Passover and unleavened bread, what are they? What type of feast are they? Freedom, B, slavery, C, captivity, D, hope.
Freedom.
Freedom. Thank you so much. I've said it, particularly Passover. It's a time for our freedom. It's a time for our liberation. It's a time for our deliverance. It's a time for our salvation. Don't forget these. They are very, very important. Once you are celebrating anything, you know the meaning. You have understanding. Today, people celebrate Easter. They don't know the meaning. They only know that, oh, their Jesus rose from the dead. Oh, as a result, they will not sin again. As a result, they have received grace. They will go to heaven. That's all they know about Easter. The substance of the message. Because they left Passover that Yahweh asked them to celebrate. They ran to pagan something, which has no meaning, which Yahweh did not give them. As a result, Satan brainwashed them and pushed them away from the truth. So we should understand what you are celebrating. The same thing happened to Christmas they are celebrating. Do they know the meaning? Has he got anything? What is it teaching them? That they wear their immaculate clothes and all their trinket, all their golden chain, golden wristwatch, beautiful polished shoes, walk about the street, drive the roads and all that, enjoy themselves, eat, and then they say they are celebrating the birth of their Messiah. The Messiah that came to save them, came to give them this and that and that and that. But the truth is that if you look at these feasts now, you can situate what they are celebrating in the feast of Pentecost, for instance, that is talking about first fruits. First fruits. Can situate it even to tabernacle, which even talk more about salvation of Israel, coming to regather them back to the land. May Yahweh help us to have understanding in what we do. Passover foreshadowed the coming of who? A, Jesus Christ. B, Muhammad. C, Hare Krishna. D, Yeshua, the Messiah. What does Passover foreshadow? Who does it foreshadow? Jesus Christ, Muhammad, Hare Krishna, Yeshua, Messiah.
Yeshua.
Yeshua, Messiah. Because Jesus and Yeshua is not the same name. Doesn't sound the same thing. Doesn't reveal or have the same purpose or the same plan of Yahweh. No. There are two different names. One is real, one is not real. Because there's only one Messiah. There are no two Messiahs. Yeshua is of Hebrew stock. By the way, Jesus Christ is a name being called by the Gentile Christianity. And it evolved about 325 AD. Years after Yeshua had come and finished his work and ascended into heaven. So who do we believe? The one that came first or the one that came of recent? Even the name Jesus is of recent, talking about 17th century. Passover in the New Covenant is a feast that requires A, blood, wine, bread. B, blood, wine, unleavened bread. C, blood, wine, leavened bread. D, pure blood of grape and unleavened bread.
Pure blood of grape and unleavened bread.
Good, good, that's good. Another question, do we need to shed animal blood to observe Passover today? Yes, because Yeshua did not do thorough work. B, yes, because shedding of blood is a continuous requirement. C, no, Yeshua's blood is enough for forgiveness of sin. D, yes, animal blood is required plus Yeshua's blood.
No,
Yeshua is our lamb.
blood is enough.
Yeshua's blood is enough for forgiveness of sin. Good. Thank you so much. Another question. Yeshua's death and resurrection is a mark of A, renewal of the covenant. B, reconciliation of believers to the Father. C, redemption, liberation, and salvation of believers. D, A to C, above.
A to C, above.
Good. A to C, above. B is the answer. A to C, above. A to C, above. Right. Passover feasts indicate what month to Israelites? Passover feasts. Passover feasts indicate what month to Israelites? 12th month, 10th month, 1st month, 9th month.
1st month.
1st month. That is what Passover indicates. That is Exodus chapter 12, verse 2. This month shall be the beginning of your months. Now, spiritually, unleavened bread symbolizes A, pure word. B, pure word and truth. C, pure word, sincerity and truth. D, all the above.
All the above. D.
All the above. Good. Spiritually, leaven, what is called leaven, is used as a symbol of what? A, good and evil. B, love and holiness. C, sin, evil and wickedness. D, none of the above.
D, none of the above.
The answer is C, sin, evil and wickedness. Remember, I have explained this several times to us. What are we celebrating? Feast of unleavened bread. That is, when you have bread made without leavening, any leaven leavening agent or product that make it on. That is something that is without. Leaven, that means there is presence of those leavening. What pop it up, what go. So that leavening, what makes it pop up is what is symbolized as sin.
Okay.
Not that leaven is sin itself. No. Yahweh is using it as to show us example how sin behaves. A little sin, a little leaveneth whatever it drops into, whatever it touches. If you make a dough, if you take flour, prepare flour, and drop a little leaven, it will do it what? It will push it up. It will blow it. So that's how sin behaves, leaven. So when the word leaven is used, though depend on context, because leaven can be some other thing. But in the context of Passover celebration and all that, particularly in this unleavened bread feast we are doing, it's talking about sin. And it's saying, run away from sin. Because whatever it touches, it will blow it up and it will destroy it. Eating unleavened bread spiritually connotes eating what? Eating unleavened bread. Bread without yeast, bread without leavening agent or product. Eating unleavened bread spiritually connotes eating what? A, pure word of Yahweh, that is Torah and commandments. B, pure blood of the grape. C, bread and drinking pure grape. D, unleavened bread and lamb of sacrifice. Eating unleavened bread, what does it mean? When you are eating unleavened bread, remember Yeshua said, I'm the bread of life. And this time around, that Yahweh is asking us, purge every leaven out of our bodies, out of our lives, out of our ways, out of our behavior, purge it. All he's asking us is to eat anything that is unleavened. The Passover we celebrated it with unleavened bread. That is clean bread, pure bread. So I've just tried to describe this to you. So what is this question asking you to, provide answer to? Eating unleavened bread spiritually connotes eating what? Pure word of Yahweh, that is Torah and commandments, pure blood of the grape, bread and drinking pure grape, unleavened bread and lamb of sacrifice. When you are eating unleavened bread, spiritually, what does it connote? What does it mean? What does it represent? What are you doing when you are eating unleavened bread in the spiritual sense? Is the pure word of Yahweh you are taking in. Pure word of Yahweh. Remember Yeshua, he said, this is my flesh. When he was presenting it to the disciples, that unleavened bread, he said, this is my flesh. And the cup, which is the grapevine, he said, this is my blood. Was he referring to his blood, his flesh? No. All those elements were used as item, products, to represent himself. Then deep down spiritually, he's talking about his word. So Yeshua is the word of Yahweh. And Yeshua himself told us that he is the bread of life when he was talking to them in John chapter 6. Again, in the same John chapter 6, he told them, and that's what made them mad. When he said, except you eat my flesh and drink my blood, you have no life in you. John chapter 6, from 53 to 56. They were mad. In verse 63 of the St. John chapter 6, they began to run away. He told them that the word he speaks to them is life and spirit. And when he gets into Matthew chapter 26, verses 26 to 28, there he explained all these out again. What is he talking about? He's talking about the word of Yahweh. He was speaking to them. The word I speak to you has in it life and spirit. So it's all about the word of Yahweh. And that is why if we are close to the word of Yahweh, listen to the word of Yahweh, read the word of Yahweh, meditate from the word of Yahweh, pray with the word of Yahweh, I tell you, you are under a seal, you're under a cover, you're under a deep protection. In as much as you know what you are doing, in truth and in spirit. So that word has the spirit of Yahweh in it, the power of Yahweh in it. Very, very important. Passover and unleavened bread are called memorial feasts because they foreshadow the coming of Yeshua and salvation. They are freedom and deliverance reminder. C, they also project future restoration of believers. D, all of the above.
All the above.
All of the above. Okay, quickly. Leaven is associated with sin. Leaven is associated with sin. Sinful who? Pharisees, that is Pharisees, Sadducees, scribes, priests, religious leaders. B, Pharisees, Sadducees, scribes, pastors, laity. C, Pharisees, prophets, priests, members. D, all sinners.
All sinners.
All sinners, because all have sinned and come short of glory of Yahweh, whether they are pastors, whether they are Pharisees, whether they are Sadducees, whether they are priests, all sinners. Thank you. Believers shall remove leaven from their houses before unleavened bread feast. Why? I explained this and over again. Believers shall remove leaven from their houses. Yahweh commands that every Israelite in this time of Passover and unleavened bread, we shall remove anything that has to do with leaven products. Like we stop eating bread that has yeast in it. Only bread that are without leaven, that is unleavened bread, those are the ones we eat today. Because there's nothing like yeast in those bread or any product that ordinarily would have attracted yeast. We don't eat them. Believers shall remove leaven. Why must we remove leaven from our houses before the unleavened bread feasts? Why? A, it demonstrates obedience. C, it demonstrates love for Yahweh's word. C, it demonstrates a life free from sin. D, all of the above.
All the above.
All of the above. Thank you so much. Well, I take one or two questions, then we will be done. I have even more than 10. What I will do is to place it in our website. I won't guarantee it's this week or anytime soon, but as soon as I have time, I will put all these questions. It's very important you look at them. The answers, the options are there. Options are there. And already I have answers. So after you try them, I will put out the answers for you to see. So you mark yourself and know those you get and those you failed. Right. Whoever eats anything leavened from the first day until the seventh day, that person shall perish. Exodus 12:15. That person shall be what? Number one, or welcomed in Israel, cut off from Israel, banished from Israel, promoted in Israel. I just
Cut off
unknowingly, I
Israel.
just mentioned. Thank you so much. I just mentioned the answer. All right, that is the answer. Except I will touch one, then we will conclude, unless you have your own query to ask. Passover requires a believer to be circumcised. What type? What type of circumcision? Listen to this again. Passover requires a believer to be circumcised. What type of circumcision? A. Circumcision of foreskin and circumcision of the heart. I've said this and said it repeatedly several times. B. Circumcision of foreskin and body. C. Circumcision of the heart and mind. D. No circumcision is required.
A. Circumcision of the foreskin and heart.
Circumcision of foreskin and circumcision of the heart. Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you. You've done well. And that shows you are listening and you are reading your Torah. You are reading your book of covenant. And you are making the efforts, running the race. Keep it up as we have, entered into this feast of Passover and unleavened bread, and we are getting it concluded by tomorrow. Please, what Yahweh asks us to do is to continue to perform them, continue to, showcase, live the life, what these feasts present to us or try to teach us is to apply ourselves. It's just, you have studied in school, you have done theory. Now, the time you have to apply them, when you get job, you begin to apply what you read in the school, you begin to demonstrate them in the place of work. That's how it is in what we do. When we come to the gathering like this, we listen, get the theories that are explained to us and all that. Then when we get into our home, when we get into the street, when we get into the market, when we get into the public, we begin to what? Practice them. We begin to apply what we learned in the assemblies, in the congregations. So that is what Yahweh is teaching us to do. And that's why I said you should keep these feasts going. Celebrate it from generation to generation. Every year. Don't miss it. And continue to live in accordance to what Yahweh has taught you. For instance, I said, become unleavened, not leaven. Become holy, not unholy, not unrighteous. Purge every leaven from you. So this is the reason of our gathering in time like this, in time of this festivity. And it's the doing of our Father through Yeshua HaMashiach, who we are expecting his return, who is preparing us today, because it is knowledge first before the deliverance will come. It's not the other way around. Yahweh will not deliver you before. No. He will first of all teach you and teach you and teach you. Before now, he will regather Israelites, the second Exodus, before we take place. Israelites would have the knowledge, because Israelites will not return in their land in their sinful habits, in their sinful character. He will cleanse them, he will purify them, he will teach them, they will learn. So all we are doing is preparation. All we are doing is to wash ourselves of all unrighteousness, clean ourselves from every sin, iniquity, leaven. So we have to unleaven ourselves. We have to purify ourselves. And that work is being done by the Spirit of Yahweh, the advocate, the Spirit that helps us, the Spirit that guides us, the Spirit that teaches us, the Spirit that equips us into all truth. So once the truth is in us, the knowledge of good is in us, we return to what he was telling Adam. Let the knowledge of good be in you. let the way of righteousness be your way. Follow the word of Yahweh. Once we put on all this cloak of righteousness, Yahweh will be happy and will be ready to return Israelites back to their land, so that he will be their king, because Yahweh does not reside with people that, thrive in iniquity, thrive in sin. Yahweh will not do that. So that's why he's making all this effort to do what he's doing to get us prepared. May Yahweh prepare you. May Yahweh continue to strengthen you. May Yahweh continue to empower every one of us, so that when the trumpet will sound in these latter days, none of us will be held responsible to, account for all the sins. Because Yeshua said that those that keep the word of Yahweh today, and those that maintain his name, call his name, he said they will escape the trial, they will escape the test, they will not enter into Yahweh's judgment. He will take them away, because they have already gone through the school process, and they have been cleansed, they have been found to be clean, and are ready to be established and to own the land. May this be our portion. May Yahweh keep us and continue to strengthen us. And by tomorrow when we will meet, we pray that we'll be shining and be ready to live our lives going forward throughout the year in the mighty, powerful hand of Almighty Father, who by his promise, the Spirit, will continue to be our teacher and continue to show us the way out of all troubles. In Yeshua's name. Amen. Hallelujah. God bless you. Rejoice today. Have your, feasts. Enjoy yourself as usual. We meet tomorrow by 11 o'clock. Tomorrow is Shabbat. This evening, we get ourselves prepared against tomorrow's Shabbat. Remember, this is the eve of the Shabbat day. Tomorrow is Yahweh's Sabbath, and is the last day of the feast. Tell somebody and come with the person. Let us celebrate together, and all of us will be blessed for it in Yeshua's name. Hallelujah. Have a beautiful day. Shalom.
Shalom. Bye.
Shalom.
Hello.
Mike.
Yes.
I will call you later. I will call you later. We'll speak.
Okay.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, Pastor. And
thank you so much.
Shalom. Have a good day, everyone.
Shalom. 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 JB, God bless. All right. Take care. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a good day.